Hi, my name is Robert. I'm 67 years old, and about 2 years ago, I thought I was just getting older. My feet started feeling strange, a tingling, almost like they were half asleep, all the time. At first, I brushed it off. I figured it was just part of getting to this age. But then I noticed I was reaching for the wall when I walked down the hallway. Small things, but they added up. My ankles felt weak. My balance wasn't where it used to be. And at night, my feet would burn. Not from heat, just this deep, uncomfortable burning that kept me awake. I went to my doctor. Good man. Been seeing him for years. He ran some tests, looked at me and said, "Robert, you're 65. This is normal aging." But it didn't feel normal. I've been active my whole life, walked every morning, worked in my garden, and now I was nervous to walk to the kitchen at night without turning every light on. That's not aging. That's something else entirely. So, I started paying attention. And I want to talk to you today if you're over 60 and you've noticed something similar. Because what I found changed everything for me. If your feet sometimes feel numb, if you feel slightly off balance, if you've had that strange pins and needles sensation that just won't go away, this may not be aging. Here's what most people don't know, and what most doctors don't take the time to explain. After the age of 60, the small blood vessels that feed your nerves, they start to narrow. Blood flow to the extremities, your feet, your legs, decreases. When your nerves don't get enough oxygen, they start to deteriorate. Slowly, quietly, without any dramatic warning. There's a protective coating around your nerve fibers called the myelin sheath. Think of it like the insulation around an electrical wire. When circulation drops and inflammation increases, that coating breaks down. And when it breaks down, the signals your brain sends to your feet, they get delayed, distorted. Sometimes they barely get through at all. Doctors have a clinical name for this. It falls under what's called peripheral nerve degeneration. But I like to call it what it really is, silent nerve damage. Because it happens quietly, you don't feel it happening. You just start noticing the results. Burning feet at night, cold feet even in warm rooms, that unsettling pins and needles feeling, weak ankles, slight imbalance, and that growing fear of falling. And I want to stop on that for a moment, because falls are not a small thing when you're over 60. A fall can mean a fracture. A fracture can mean surgery. Surgery at our age comes with real risks. And recovery is never the same. So when your balance starts to go, when your feet stop communicating clearly with your brain, that's not something to wait on. But here's where most people, including me for a long time, make a serious mistake. Most people treat balance problems like a muscle problem. They do leg exercises, they stretch, they buy better shoes. And I'm not saying those things are bad. But if the root of the problem is nerve damage, if the real issue is that your nerve fibers aren't getting proper blood flow, that your myelin sheath is deteriorating, then stretching won't fix that. You can strengthen every muscle in your legs, but if the nerve signal from your brain to your foot is weak or delayed, your body still won't respond the way it should. The real problem, the one nobody talks about, is happening at a microscopic level. Damaged nerve signaling, reduced nitric oxide production, poor microcirculation, and chronic inflammation that slowly attacks the very insulation protecting your nerves. That's what was happening to me. And once I understood that, I stopped looking for the wrong solution. I started researching. And I want to be honest with you, I'm not a doctor. I'm a retired contractor from Ohio. But I spent months reading everything I could find about nerve health and what actually supports it. And I discovered something that genuinely shocked me. There are specific nutrients, not medications, not anything experimental, that have been studied extensively for their role in protecting and supporting nerve tissue. Compounds that support microcirculation, that help get oxygen-rich blood back to those small vessels feeding your nerves. that reduce the kind of low-grade chronic inflammation that damages nerve insulation over time. And certain vitamins, specific forms of B vitamins in particular, that have a direct, documented relationship with nerve function and nerve repair. I'd never heard of any of this. My doctor never mentioned it. But the research was there, published, peer-reviewed, quietly sitting in journals that most of us never read. So let me break this down simply, because this is the part that really helped me understand what my body needed. There are 3 things your nerves need to stay healthy as you age. The first is oxygen. Your nerve endings, especially in your feet and lower legs, depend on consistent blood flow to stay alive and functional. When microcirculation drops, when those tiny vessels constrict, your nerve endings start to suffocate. Not dramatically, slowly, but the damage accumulates. Supporting healthy circulation to the extremities, improving what's called peripheral blood flow, is one of the most important things you can do for nerve health after 60. And there are natural compounds that directly support this process. The second thing your nerves need is inflammation control. Chronic inflammation is different from the kind of inflammation you feel after an injury. It's low-level, constant, and it specifically attacks the myelin sheath, that protective coating I mentioned earlier. When inflammation is left unchecked for years, the insulation around your nerves degrades. Signals slow down. Sensation changes. Balance suffers. Certain natural anti-inflammatory compounds have been shown to reduce this kind of nerve-targeting inflammation. Not instantly, but consistently over time. And the third thing, the one that surprised me most, is direct nerve signal support. There are specific nutrients that support the actual electrical communication between your nervous system and your muscles. B12 in its most bioavailable form. Alpha-lipoic acid. Acetyl L-carnitine. These aren't exotic. They're not new. But the research on their role in peripheral nerve function is substantial. And most people over 60 are significantly deficient in at least one of them. When I understood these 3 pillars, circulation, inflammation, nerve signal support, I stopped feeling lost. I knew what direction to go. And I want to tell you what happened next, because this is the part that still amazes me when I think about it. Within a few weeks of consistently supporting my body with the right nutrients, the burning in my feet started to ease. Not overnight, but noticeably. The pins and needles sensation became less frequent. And then one morning, I don't even remember exactly when, I realized I had walked to the kitchen in the dark and hadn't thought twice about it. I wasn't holding the wall anymore. My ankles felt more stable. I went back to my morning walks. Not perfect, but steady, grounded, like my feet were actually connected to the ground again. I'm not going to tell you I'm a new man. I'm 67. I still have my mornings, but the fear is gone. That quiet, creeping fear of losing my balance, of falling, that's gone. And that has changed my daily life in ways that are hard to put into words. Now, I want to speak directly to you. If you're over 60 and you've been feeling any of what I described, the tingling, the burning at night, the unsteadiness, the cold feet, the moments where you reach for something to hold, don't ignore it. Please, not because I want to frighten you, but because the earlier you support your nerve health, the better the outcome. These things don't get better on their own, but they can respond, genuinely respond, when you give your body what it needs. I spent a long time thinking this was just my age, that I had to accept it, that nothing could be done. I was wrong. After all my research, all those months of reading studies, comparing ingredients, looking at what the science actually supported, I found a nerve support formula that addressed all 3 pillars I described. Clinically studied ingredients, specifically designed for aging nerve tissue. Not a drug, not a miracle, just targeted nutritional support for what your nerves actually need after 60. I'll leave the information below this video. Take a look at it. Read what's in it. Look up the ingredients yourself if you want. I did. You don't have to take my word for anything. But if what I described today sounds familiar, I'd encourage you not to wait. Your balance, your steadiness, your independence, these things matter, and there may be more you can do to protect them than anyone has told you. My name is Robert. I'm 67, and I'm still standing, steady on my own 2 feet. I hope the same for you.